than I use TI, but it does the same thing that TI does, which is it does render conclusions for me that become reference points. But instead of me using those reference points to draw other conclusions, they actually modify my behavior. Because I see FE, I'm much more fluent in the real time process orientation application of it than I display usually, because it's a secondary process, whereas it's the absolute value. It's my value criterion. It is a thing. This theory is coming together because of the way that frameworks work in debate. In the Lincoln-Douglas debate, each debater presents a value, which is this is what the good is, basically. Like I value life, I value liberty, I value autonomy, something like that. And then you have a value criterion, which is, and we should use this process to uphold that value. It's the best process to uphold that value. So, for example, if I were to value liberty, my value criterion might be constraint of government. That would be a practical way to uphold the value of liberty. The identity works the same way. So my core value, I value potentiality, and my value criterion is consistency. And the reason is because since your metaframe, your dominant function, means that you can't have a value higher than the one you value with your metaframe. So for me, my value is technically the metaphysical aspect of extroverted intuition. That's my core value. It has its own value criterion, its instrumental value, and that would be the physical aspect of extroverted intuition, namely playing with shit in the world. And then so that's sort of like the metaframe. It's got its own value criterion, but it comprises an object that functions as a value for then my real value criterion in terms of dealing with people, which namely is TI. That's how the value criterion means how we exercise legitimacy in the moment. So in the moment, I exercise legitimacy by either affirming it through consistency, falsifying it through inconsistency, or legitimizing through consistency, delegitimizing through inconsistency. But then we go back to frame again in the third function. In the third function, the frame comes into play. So it gets checked against the subframe, which is potentiality is the metaframe, but potentiality itself is not, it gives you no concrete direction or ontological labels or tags or anchors or anything. It's got to manifest through some sort of currency. And so for me, the third slot then provides the currency frame. It says, we'll know potentiality, the grand potentiality quest is healthy, provided everybody likes me. So it's the frame that you use. The meta frame you don't use. It's an absolute value that's invisible to you. It's like saying, it's the kind of frame we can't operate on. We could operate on a physical frame, for example, by saying, let's pretend we're talking about roads and cars. We could go and alter the roads. I could go and blow up a road and thereby work directly on that frame of reference, namely the system of roads that provides transportation channels or avenues for people to move along. I can attack that frame directly, or I can address that frame directly. I can change that frame directly. It's subject to working upon directly. Well, that's true for your third slot function frame as well. You can work on understanding how you process and what you do with the frame of everybody liking you, but it still has to be, it's still only meaningful insofar as it's at least consistent with and upholds the ultimate meta frame, namely potentialities. In other words, it's not okay for everyone to like me if it means I have to promise to never do X again. Fuck that noise. We'll find another way to get everybody to like me than me agreeing to be constrained like that. It doesn't matter if it's consistent with my hidden agenda subframe. It's not consistent with my metaframe's absolute value, and thus it'll be manifest in some other way. So that's how the absolute value of the metaframe works, is that it compels the other frames and processes to change when they run afoul of it. It's the ultimate law of non-contradiction. Is the ultimate ontological law of non-contradiction. The ontological law of non-contradiction is this: every other frame of reference you have, to the extent that it negates your absolute value of your metaframe, will alter itself to become consistent with the metaframe. It won't lose to the metaframe. It will be subsumed by the metaframe. So that's why I can always prioritize everybody liking me and it never run afoul of my metaframe, because when it does, I don't want to be liked that way. And I got to come up with a different way to be liked. But it's still consistent with FE. So that's more on the frames and processes, the absolute and instrumental values, and the metaphysical and physical aspects of each cognitive function. And the more I talk this out, the more convinced I am that I'm right. That's a good sign. Any thoughts? We're at 7 minutes. 7 minutes of pure golden bricks. You could choose to polish a golden brick and hand it back to me. You could say, no, your golden brick is pewter. Or you could say, hey, let's use it to build this little brick statue over here. Or you could say, fuck you, I'm tired of gold bricks. Give me something else, god damn it.
I could say that gold brick reminded me of a shiny thing, and then I went over there and I was like finding other gold bricks that were totally unrelated, and then I forgot to be listening.
And I'm like, hey, Audra, you're supposed to be watching me. I'm doing cool stuff over here. No, I don't care about your cool stuff. You're supposed to be paying attention to my cool stuff. After you're done applauding, I'll go over there and look for a little while and see if you're doing other things that's cool, okay? God. You're so rude, Audra.
I know. My buckets are dry. I didn't fill them up this morning.
It's like, and the observers see us appear to be throwing water at each other. And Audra and I are like, oh yeah. Oh, that's right. They forget that there's not actually water.
Isn't that actually water? We were just practicing.
They're bad.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you throw the bucket like this. And we're like, yeah. I've seen the bucket be thrown like that. I've seen the water fly that direction.
I have deduced from negative space where the water must be and what it must cause you to do. I've learned to go, ooh, I'm wet. Is that Minecraft?
Yeah.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot about this game, and I've heard it's boxy, pixelatedly square boxy. And I've also heard that one thing that people do in this game is that they spend all their time making it more difficult for somebody else to do anything. They're the INTP in your TEFE pudding.
I suppose so.
If you're trying to make a TEFE pudding, then you don't want an INTP around. Let's think how we can more efficiently prioritize everyone being cool with a compromise over that which is logically consistent or even effective to larger NI truths. Let's do that. Susie, can you help us do that, please?
No.
Yeah. See, this is the problem that the bad guys have in general. Remember, the bad guys are, for all the viewers out there, if you forget, here's a quick heuristic. The bad guys are people who are different from you. Okay? So anyway, the bad guys, they have a problem. They want to do bad things. We know they're bad things because they don't withstand our scrutiny. So the problem is, to do bad things well, they need to be scrutinized, because otherwise they will not anticipate problems very well. But the people who can best scrutinize bad ideas don't want to help people implement their bad ideas, because their scrutiny reveals that they're bad ideas. So people who consistently present bad ideas have a habit, they learn it, of avoiding the scrutiny of smart people who use TI to invalidate their bad idea. And thus it is that they will forever clumsily fight the war to execute their own bad ideas, because they have to avoid anybody who might show them how to less clumsily implement those bad ideas, because to know that is to know that the ideas are themselves terrible.
Are you recording?
Yep. I left that silence for my NI friends out there to have a chance to process that data.
Dude, I stopped listening to you like 20 minutes ago.
I'm not talking to you live people in the room. I'm talking to my loyal viewing audience who watches every minute of every video.
That's not a thing.
You participants, you aren't my favorite viewers, okay? You know who's my favorite viewer? Viewer watching this video out there? It's you. You're my favorite viewer. I'm talking to you personally. I know. Other people might think it too, but I'm really talking to you. And I want you to know something else. I love you. I do. I absolutely love you. I find you darling, quaint, rustic, and shabby chic, all combined into one very, very desirable accoutrement for your home, garden, or anywhere where you want to spruce up that chic. Okay? It's all for you. Audra, would you like to also add how much you care about the viewer? She is caring so much that she has lost the ability to speak. That's what the wetness does. Sometimes if you're underwater, you can't be heard to scream. For those of us who know what it means to feel, well, we relate to that statement right there.
The tertiary function should be renamed to abusive function.
The abusive function? Well, listen. My concern is that we are cautious that nobody drowns.
Are you sure?
My favorite saying is, don't be mad at me when I can't breathe because I'm underwater. I can't help it. Help it. And your judgment is not helping.
Right.
You hurt my feelings. I'm concerned about that phenomenon because people literally die from moisture.
Death by moisture.
Mm-hmm. That's why I've begun the Society for the Vaccination and Prevention of Moisture-Related Accidents. Hi, Audra.
The internet couldn't handle the bandwidth of all the moisture that I was slaying, you know.
Moisture is bandwidth intensive. It's true. We were just mentioning that it might be a good idea to start an organization that's dedicated to the prevention of moisture-related accidents. We go everywhere with towels. You're fine. That's our motto. You're fine. Quit whining.
The towel squad.
That's a towel. That dries you up. What do you mean it makes you more wet? No, it doesn't. You're lying. Shut up. You're fine.
Absorbent. You know? That's our motto.
What is? You cut out.
Altruistic absorbance.
Altruistic absorbance, yes. No, I'm not being mean to you. I'm altruistically absorbing your moisture. God, you're stupid. What do you mean mean? You keep using this word. It makes no sense to me. I'm absorbing your moisture.
Oh. Right.
Hi, Key.
Who's it?
Yes.
European. Hi, Janelle. I determined that European men are more susceptible to moisture than European women.
Why?
Because
It's all the goddamn soy milk.
Because Jacob's moist as fuck, and the chicks from Europe aren't nearly that moist. That's why I've concluded. I've made a hasty generalization.
You have quite the representative selection.
Well, I'm a big fan of hasty generalizations because they let you to get on with the metaphysical action as though it were the case, and you can always go back and degeneralize later if you want to. Don't call my generalization hasty until you check to see if it's tasty. That's my motto. Don't call it hasty unless you've checked to see it tasty. Because those generalizations taste good.
And salty.
They're covered in salty moisture. I've got to go do shit. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you for watching this again. Video after video. Masterpiece after masterpiece. Yep. It's such a masterpiece.
Get out.
Goodbye.
Go.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out.
Genau.
Jag får gå.
For Eric. Oh shit. Fuck off.
He doesn't want an
Thank you.
advertisement, but it's gonna get one.
Somebody throwing water or what?
Does it sound like someone's throwing water?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You guys act like somebody did something, but I was
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
And confusion.
Oh,
Confusion derived from Confucius, the Chinese philosopher.
Confucius. I am Confucian.
I am confusion, and confusion is me. Let me pass by you for eternity.
Well, I think I'm gonna head out. Talk y'all
What?
later.
Meh. Up. Sad masks, burden and tasks, smiles of joy in emotion or decoy. Would we really tell? If you really tell, anger and devotion sets all into motion. Tears apart, stable, initiates a fable. Such devotion is lace, not a failing to amaze. Such devotion is sadness, a culprit of madness, a double-edged sword, experience and pain. I'll action no word, where I stand to gain. Weakness makes thickness, thickness protects skull. What makes one a fool? Am I that fool of misery? That is a mystery, as uncertainty barks upon us. They literally write barks. Like a dog. I literally write barks, like a dog barks. Jesus Christ. Well. I have nothing to do, give me stuff. No, nobody is here. Oh well.
You have to ask nicer. You have to practice throwing your water.
Hmm?
Did you hear Eric's metaphor?
No.
Oh. It was hilarious. He went on for like 5 minutes about how having polar FI was like not being able to recognize what rain was, and everybody's like, you're wet, or we're wet, and you're just like, you learn to like see it. So then you just practice like carrying around buckets of water, but it's fake water. And so you just carry it around in case you need it, and you just, throw it on people. It's actually buckets full of energy, but I don't do it. You should go watch the raw footage. It was funny. Everybody else is like, we don't get this metaphor. It kind of makes sense. I'm like, it makes perfect sense. And then he went on one about how it was like the Emperor's New Clothes story. That was even funnier. You just lurking Kestrel, or
Literally nothing to do, Jesus Christ.
I have stuff to do. I'm just not quite doing it yet.
Do you is it physical?
What I have to do?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean,
What do you have to do?
I have to go finish grading papers.
Like a teacher of sorts?
Yeah. So I do it for a mini teacher, so I have like 20 students that I take care of.
That's nice.
And we usually don't. This is the first time we've ever had the class in the summer session, so it's like, compressed. And so last week I had to grade twice as many as I normally would, and then this week I'm doing like 3 things, like 3 times as much as I would normally have to do in a week. But I gotta go get it done by tonight.
I mean, if you plunge that NE in, you'll get it done in no time.
Yeah, I'll get it done. Grading isn't the hardest part because it's usually pretty easy to say, okay, yeah, this deserves this grade or whatever. But for this week, I have to. So they have one assignment where more or less the assignment is a personalized assignment based on what they're studying. And so I have to not only read all the papers, grade all the papers, and I have to give some sort of constructive feedback on the papers. Then I have to come up with an assignment for the paper next week based on all what I've read. So that's why it really, really has to be done by today.
Sounds
because
fun.
until I finish their assignment, they can't do it.
I have no clue how to pull off that in that start of the thinking process, which brings like gold. You've been saying before, the pressure that you have to encounter to get in the zone, which is rather impulsive.
What are we getting in the zone for? I wasn't paying attention.
It's generally getting in the zone.
Oh, yeah. It's tough. I actually just read an interesting article. It was somebody posted it to one of the ENTP groups, but it was some weight trainer guy that has a theory on figuring out your basic neurotransmitter kind of deficiency preference situation, right? And that tailoring your training regimen to that sort of person. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. And it was talking about, dopamine deficient and, novelty seeking. You're like, oh, yeah. And it was good because it was like, don't do repetitions, don't do just like the same number of this and the same number of that. And, they said it's all about mixing it up. They said that you can't do the same program with them for more than 3 months. Said that you have to just like totally change the whole system or whatever you're training them with every so often. I'm like, that's good advice. And some other good stuff like do the maximum, like the hardest workout part early in the workout. Don't wait till the end. I don't know. It was interesting.
So you were like, well, that adds up with my crisis solving. I guess I'll do nothing. Thanks, confirmation bias.
But it's better than because that's one of the things I found in like training, physical training things is that it's very frequently very structured and they don't get that variety is important. But I don't know. It was a good article.
You're insane. No, I live in constant novelty. Oh, damn it.
But I was actually thinking about when I used to do some weight training more frequently, like what they described is very much what I kind of did for myself.
Can you send the link?
Let me see if I can find it. I'll save it on Facebook, I think. You lift weights? It's kind of like weight training. I like it way better than like straight up cardio stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is that if I would start doing that, then I will like gain strength and muscle instead of height, and I need to be those 6'2". Steve Jobs and shit. To win the next presidential election,
You're 15. You're probably likely to gain some height anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've looked at the estimates of how much height I'll gain, and on average, a person my height will, at 20 years of age, will be about 6 foot 1 inch, and I'll be 6 feet 1 inch. That will not be enough. I mean, I don't.
You gotta make sure you keep your back strength up so that your spine stays straight, and you can make sure you gain more. Game alright.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, when I'm standing straight, I have 6 foot, 6 feet. People actually like say 6 foot, or is it just my fault?
Ash, what's
People-
the version you're playing?
Beta 1.8.
Beta 1.8? Okay, thank you.
That was the shit when I was younger. Nah, yes, I was actually younger once, like younger. Actually, I could trace down when I've made a Minecraft server. Notch leaving Minecraft. We'll add an estimate. 2014. So that gives us an estimate of 2013. When I was about 12, shit, maybe even earlier. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I'm playing for 1.8 too.
I mean, 1.8 is possibly the best version.
Yeah, I think 1.8 is where I started too. I'm going to give it a try. Your house is ugly though.
It's not a house, it's a cave, and it's practical, and it's beautiful. Just look at
I
the
played-
cage, man.
I just played with real Legos when I was a kid.
Times change.
You're such an hipster, Audra.
I got into Minecraft like last year. And then I was like, this would have been awesome when I was a kid. They actually tried, like, because there was this Lego game that was more or less, the theory was you could just build anything out of Legos in the game, right? So kind of same sort of theory as Minecraft, right? But it never worked very good. I had it and I was very excited to get it, but it just never worked very good. And so I never got to fulfill my dreams of having Legos in a box until Minecraft came along. It's a lot cheaper than Legos too. I would have more money.
Man, I just like need a sandbox thing. Like not even Minecraft, I don't think even
Oh, the map is so much emptier.
I took a photo of myself like at 2 AM. And I look like a fucking psychopath on that picture. Either way.
Looks like a standard ENTP. I was not paying attention portrait. I always look like a criminal, like passport photos.
What I look like. This is me when I was super fucking tired, and I just like, oh look, fucking height to width ratio stuff. I need to take a photo. So that's my forehead. Look at the look at the unsymmetrical eyes. Like this eye is a little bit tilted. You can see the eyelid getting a bit down from the tiredness, and that's just how I mean. My body is so much used to insomnia. I don't even have those fucking things under my eyes anymore.
Oh, the bags. I just have permanent ones. They never go away, even when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandma was like that. That's why I'm convinced she was probably an INTP.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. And the hair, that's just the best. That's just the best thing ever. I didn't have a haircut for 15 years. Well, I did, but it sucked always. Before it sucked, and then I've decided to have no haircut at all, and it semi-sucked. Then I've got a haircut, and it sucked again. Now it's like a combination.
The haircut and the not,
You know, I had chops.
You're like, yeah, that was good. And the next day, you're like, oh. But.
I never found what I should actually do with my hair. I'm 21 years old now, and I've never put any time into it. So.
If I keep my hair within like 60 seconds, then it's too complicated.
Yeah. I want someone to decide it for me. What should I do with my hair? I have
bald.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If I think of that so many times, but if I actually shave my head, I will look horrible. The easiest solution is not something worth considering, so unfortunately. .8 is the best, man. I feel like such an hipster.
I mean, it's kind of outdated. Man. Like, I've made a thing when I was younger. I like made a server. I've made a server. Made a really nice painting when I was. I can actually show you the painting. Hold on.
When I played Factions, I once built one base. I had various layouts for bases, but I had one that was with mirror ceiling, glass ceiling, and the floor was a swastika. So at the time, everybody used Minimap, and when you check my base in the Minimap, you will just see a giant swastika.
All right, so it's a bit old. It's, I think, when I was in kindergarten, I've made this. So it's real fucking old. Not as old as somebody else will make on this channel in kindergarten. It's still like over a decade old. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but we were supposed to make those car designs, right? So if I basically made a car which looked like this.
You know you're not sharing your screen, right?
Yeah, I know. I am trying to type the address on the phone.
Use your imagination, Audra.
Wait, is it raining and I didn't notice? Oh wait, this one.
Slash. Arrive. Appear. It's not. There we go. Joining video chat, accessing. No microphone. Okay. Wrong camera. Whatever. So basically I've made this when we were supposed to do car design. Right here are like aliens and stuff. Just enjoying their stroll. There are like a lot of thrusters, so it'll go super fast, you know. A super flashy design, like flames, stickers. Too many of them though. And big ass wheels to survive all of it. And of course, if you're going to be an alien, you won't give a fuck about the road, so just ride on grass fields.
I like it. I remember me and my cousin. We always draw these war machines, and so we had this thing where you could build it, and you had to like see how many people you could fit inside it, and we had all these, and then they were just like covered in turrets. You know, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then my cousin, she would always try to make stories, and we're like, no. It's like it just has to have more guns. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave this on until it breaks. Because it's a little bit synchronized now, so I'm going to give it a chance. Fuck.
There you
go. Right. There you go. Boom.
Oh man, Ash's face in real time.
Face. Yeah, like it's a bit lagged.
It's not bad though.
Yeah. Well, only a little bit.
TP came yesterday and it was like she would say something and then like 5 seconds later, then there was words and that was terrible.
This is like 2 seconds, so.
Yeah, but I think your video is actually the slower one, and it's okay if the video is what's slow.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking.
You can predict how much.
The only time I ever do any like SI cleaning stuff. Last night I was incredibly productive. I hung all my medals on the wall, which totally is higher priority than cleaning my clothes, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, everything has a higher priority than cleaning your clothes.
Exactly. And I have the wall of 8 and 3 or whatever. Yeah. I kind of forgot. I used to compete a whole lot. I haven't counted my medals in a while. It kind of made me happy.
What about cognitive Kestrel? Is that person like AFK or?
I think he's only halfway here. Like he's doing something else as well.
Fuck this.